Just shout it out. Your status on the Federal Reserve Bank, good, bad, should it be kicked out and go back to basically the gold standard?
We'll have just a minute for each of these. So
I think that the current structure of the Federal Reserve is completely off the Constitution. As I mentioned earlier, Article 1, Congress, Section 8, the laundry list of powers designated to the Congress. It says Congress shall have the power to appoint money and regulate the value thereof. Clearly, that is what the Federal Reserve is doing. Now, it was created by the Federal Reserve back in 1913. It's up for 100-year renewal. I was do it. And it is a private corporation. It's not federal. That is an insult to the intelligence of the public, number one. And to call it reserve is an insult because then it's fractional reserves. It really doesn't have any meaning on reserves. So I think that we should take that power back to Congress where it belongs, and let Congress do its job the way it should. The first step to that is a rigorous audit of the Federal Reserve to see where that money's really been going and what's been going on there under the authority of the Fed. This is very important. This is the first principle in getting our monetary and financial system squared away. It's not regulation. It's a Congress taking its constitutional duty back. That is the failure of the American financial and capital system today.
Great, Michael.
I'm going to disagree with her on that. I think the Federal Reserve needs to be audited and better understand what's going on there. But there's an independent Federal Reserve insulates it from the whims and sometimes the idiocy of Congress. And we've seen Congress do a lot of dumb things recently. The same folks that just wanted to be mandated healthcare system, I'm not sure you want them directly running your banking system and deciding when to print money and do these sorts of things at the time of elections. I think would cause a lot of problems. The gold standard is a proxy or it is not a substitute for having fiscally responsible legislators and people with sound policy. And as you know, our country in the past was on the gold standard, and when they wanted to, they left the gold standard. What we need are people who are committed to fiscal responsibility, the sense of stewardship and sustainability for future generations, and have this basic common sense notion that we have to live within our means. And there's no substitute. And until the American people demand people need to look at themselves and look at receiving their own entitlements and are more committed to fiscal responsibility than they are to just getting how much they can get, we're not going to solve that issue.
Well, thank you very much, folks. I feel bad, Michael. I don't mean to talk behind your back, but I must disagree on the point of the Federal Reserve. The Constitution is so clear on this point. We don't need people in government who will decide what they think the Constitution should be. We need people to say this is what it does mean. And if you're unhappy, we have a mechanism to amend the Constitution. And if we amend the Constitution to say instead of Congress having the authority to appoint money and regulate the value thereof, a private corporation whose shareholders are concealed from the public knowledge by law has that authority, well then let's do it. But until we change the Constitution, folks, let's get back to the way it's supposed to be done. And these private shareholders have their own conflict of interest because they have a profit motive, folks. They have a huge conflict of interest, and there is no transparency there. So we've got to change that. That's just corruption at the highest order. I think that access needs to be drained, Steve, doctor. Now, I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad to be here with you. I'd love to serve you in the United States Senate. I'll tell you again, I don't want the job, but I want to do the job for your benefit and for the benefit of your kids and your grandkids. I am a trusted conservative around the state. I told you I've been endorsed by people. I've been endorsed by Farmer Clint Deere. Clint trusts me on the Agenda 21 issue and the property rights issues. I've been endorsed by Steve Hammond, who's the executive director of Citizens Alliance for Property Rights, because he knows I'll take a strong stand on property rights. I've been endorsed by the American Association of Physicians and Surgeons. And I've been endorsed by the chief of neurosurgery at the University of Washington, a lifelong Democrat. And he said, Art, I normally vote Democrat, but this time I'm going to vote for the best candidate, and you're it. And folks, even though I'm as conservative like you are as the day is long, and I'm a Republican, I stand on our platform, I believe that I can win even in blue Puget Sound, because people are going to be looking for leadership on the healthcare issue. Somebody who has proven he really cares for the poor, the disabled, the seniors, and has the answers. It's going to be a winning issue for us, folks. The court's probably going to strike this thing down this week. It's a winning issue for us. I'm your man. I can carry the flag for you now. But get behind me. I need your donations tonight, your endorsements, your volunteering. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, everybody. And Michael Baumgartner, let's get out here. Still out there. We have a round of applause again. Both of our